Hello everyone, it's Weston's Weatherwise with another video forecast. In today's video, we break down the upcoming severe weather coming to portions of the Central Plains and the Dixie Valley again. Starting off with the Day 7 outlook, we already had a large slight risk for places like Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. Now, some bigger places are Fort Smith, Little Rock. We have Dallas-Fort Worth included in this. We don't have Tulsa or Oklahoma City or Norman in here, though I do expect here in the coming days to get a little bit more of a risk like this, and I think we will eventually see an enhanced risk somewhere in this area, as that is going to be the greatest threat for severe weather, I think. But I do expect to get a slight risk up here in portions of Oklahoma, like Tulsa and Norman. I do expect a expansion into that. Now, although we are not going to take a look at this on models, I do want to point out we have a 10% chance already of development here in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, this was updated a few hours ago, and it is only 10% chance for 7 days. But, nevertheless, we still need to keep an eye on anywhere back here if anything starts to get going like this. This is expected, though, to just be like a fish storm if it does develop. And like I said, 10% chance in the next 48 hours and 7 days. This will not be updated again unless we see another disturbance. But May 15th is whenever they start doing their daily updates. Until then, here in the off season, this will always be here until a new disturbance comes in. Starting off with the GFS here. If we go and walk through, you can see our storm system. It is starting to move offshore. Snow and freezing rain up there in the northeast. If we continue, you can tell we're going to get a pretty big snowstorm up here across this whole area, as we actually already have winter storm watches and advisories, and we are going to see winter storm warning upgrades here soon. Maybe a little bit of snow in the northeast coming with this, for we're going to get really quiet before here on the 24th. This is the weird thing about this. So, we're looking supercellular storm mode, but latest GFS has this a lot farther to the north than the outlook across this area. Now, go and look, you can tell it becomes more linear and pushes off into the Midwest before becoming more of a snowstorm and bringing a threat of wind here in the Dixie Valley. So, then we are going to see these storms push through portions like Tampa and eventually through portions of Miami, Key West. So, then, if we go and look farther, this is around the 28th, 29th, we're going to get a pretty strong low, bringing heavy snow, good rainfall, and a severe storm threat across this whole area. So that is something that we also have to watch for, and anything out past here we just really cannot take serious. Moving on to Cape. So there is still a little bit of Cape left over. And CAPE stands for convective and potential energy. And here we are, 24th, you can tell. We're going to get some CAPE, some instability across this area. If we go and walk forward a little more, you can tell we get some pretty good CAPE around 3,000. So, another big storm is coming. If this was up there, we would have some serious problems brewing. But then our next storm around the 29th, that is also going to bring some very strong CAPE, and I am really watching this. This could be a huge storm. Now, is this going to be bigger than, yesterday's event, or Saturday's event, I should say. No, it probably won't. Though, if we see 4,000 cape and it keeps staying or getting stronger, we can't rule out a moderate risk or even a high risk across that area. Now, it is way too early to get into details. This could be gone tomorrow. Like I said, can't take anything serious that's out this far. But that is just something that we have to watch. As if I am to try and pull a sounding in here, just see what the sounding is. Possible hazard type is a tornado. Here, that's probably something other than black. Tornado possible hazard type. 77-degree storm slinky. This is a pretty good sounding, actually. Let's see. D cape is over 1,000. 3 cape is 72. This is a pretty good sounding, actually. That is a really good hodograph, too. This is a crazy sounding that I just pulled, actually. Yeah, this is a picture-perfect sounding this far out. So, definitely gonna have to watch that. If we look at bulk shear, this is the wind shear, so our upcoming event here. Go ahead and look here, around here, you can tell that low is going to start to dig. And luckily, this is not going to bring a negatively tilted trough. It will be positively tilted. And luckily, there's not a ton of wind shear, but here's our next event here. This is the 26th, now 28th. You can tell there's a ton of wind shear coming along with this system. So, I am definitely watching this area. Now, if we go and look at the European model, you can tell that's our system. Not very crazy, actually, but still supercellular mode at first. Then, if we continue, you can tell that we're going to see here no storm, actually. It is pretty crazy, the disagreements between models here. And it really just has these tiny little, like, rain showers. So there's definitely a ton of disagreement between models. So, definitely watching that. If we look at wind shear, 20th. So here we are for this system. Yet again, not a lot of wind shear. Here it is towards the 29th. We are going to see a return of that wind shear, but it's not that much. So still a bunch of disagreement between models. I hope you guys all did enjoy today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.